Warning. This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Oh, welcome back to your Tuesday night delight. It is Ramblers Unleashed, and we are on the air on YouTube.com and Twitch.tv. Sorry for the lateness in our being able to go live, but here we are. We're here to ramble, and boy, I am ready for it. As you can see, J-Bone is on assignment tonight, which I don't know if he ever told us his assignment. Guys, did he send you an update on an assignment, Max or Baron?
He told me that the all that work that Baron was doing to try and cheer up KO had left Baron with the munchies, and he went to find enough supply to deal with that.
Well, I thought he was heading down to my house to pick up the supply today. I thought that was the whole point of him missing the show.
Oh.
So he hasn't showed up yet. It's 9:51 Central Time, that the only time zone that matters.
No, 8:51 the time zone that matters. Mine.
So, J-Bone, I hope you arrive soon, bud. I got the supply waiting for you.
Yeah.
And, by the way, have you seen his glasses? It's not a surprise that he's running late. He got lost. I mean, we love you, J-Bone, but I'm just saying.
Well,
good one.
J-Bone will be back tomorrow night. Yeah, Paulie, it was 100% Max's fault for us being late. 100%. It always is Max's fault for us being late.
Fucking Max.
All the time. All the time.
He's like, it's 9:35. I can't figure out how to log in.
Right. I said, put in your password. I don't remember it.
Actually,
to be fair, this interface is a little different.
I don't remember creating a password when we did this last week. I don't remember how we got it to work. That's why I was asking, but I have a password now.
Yeah, we're on this new J-Bone got us on this new platform that we're streaming from, and I like it. I dig it, but doggone it, it's kind of a bitch to get into. It really is. But J-Bone will be back next week, and we're ready for him to come back. But in the meantime, last week, Baron was on assignment, and Baron, you were just way too far up to Cloud 9 to come down. So with that said, the man that is higher than a 747 jet, our resident happy guy, whose catchphrase is and will always be, Baron, please.
$9.99.
Ladies and gentlemen, golfers, clap for the one and only Baron. And we have your buzzkill coming up later on. Baron, I'm glad that you came back from Cloud 9. And how was it up there? Was it-
I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's far away from everything and everyone, so it's a beautiful place to be at. You really get it in your thoughts. But I miss you guys every time I'm not on the show. Miss all the viewers. Really miss Dizzy. The other two guys. No, I'm kidding. I miss everybody a lot, especially Max. Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here. Feels weird because this is my first Tuesday show. Yeah. So I'm like, is it Saturday or is it Tuesday? Because I don't know what day of the week is regardless.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a Saturday, but it's not. It's weird that I don't know.
It's Monday.
It feels like a very, very Tuesday-ish Monday.
Yeah, it's been a long week already for work for me. I don't know. It's just
right.
It's only Tuesday. It feels like it should be like a Friday.
I know. Well, Baron, we're happy to have you on here, buddy. We got your buzzkill moment coming up here in moments. Next up, the neighborhood heel, and we were just talking about maybe you might turn babyface soon, hopefully, but he is a man with more wrestling knowledge in his pinky finger than Tony Khan could ever muster up with his toy figures, and the only guy that I know that pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. You can address him as Mr. Magus, but we call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers clap, gentlemen. How are you, Max?
Oh, I'm doing great. First off, I would like to point out that I don't think Baron should be using that catchphrase We all know what he was doing when he was on assignment recently. I think that he should go with the catchphrase, I was going to succeed at cheering KO up, but then I got high.
You got to remember, I wasn't too sure what my assignment was.
Well, you really didn't have one. I mean, you were just kind of stuck in limbo. Honestly.
Yeah, Diz just said, "Go ahead, smoke the stuff, and have a great day." And I said, "Okay." And the next thing you know, it was Monday, and I was back at work. So,
when have I ever said have a
great day?
I don't know. It sounded good though.
Exactly. Well, Max, we're going to go to the desk of Max Mages here in moments as well. And yeah, J-Bone is on assignment. And so we found somebody who would at least have the knowledge that J-Bone has, but he's a good friend of ours, man. And
I got to say, my back hurts from helping you dig this guy up.
Yeah, right. We have met a lot of different people in the podcast world as the fellas of I ventured into this wonderful world of pro wrestling podcasting. And we're happy to have a very good friend of the show here tonight. He came on from time to time and we were known as Rambling About Wrestling. He also had his own very popular show known as Destroying Kayfabe. He continues to stream, but his J-Bone is on assignment tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause. Golfers clap for the incomparable CM Styles.
It's slobber? No, that's not what we're looking for here. But hey, at least I found my way on here. Sorry, Max.
Max was I gotta give credit where credit is due, man. Max said he said you can reach out to Styles, and I said I got two ideas here. I reached out to the first person, he's unavailable. He's a good friend of the show too. Oni, we miss you, man. And then I said I gotta get CM Styles on here, man. I got to.
Hey, you know, I'm glad you guys called me up on that when I was in the other side of the room and I hear my freaking messenger going off and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Looks like J-Bone. Well, hold on. Let me tell you something, brother.
Hold on. Wrong brother. Wrong. J-Bone.
This J-Bone is not on assignment. I promise you that. But tonight we are going to guarantee. Where's the bandana? Oh, Didn't I say that earlier?
Yeah, wow. I told you. I said, hey, he's like, I don't have a bandana. I said, do you have a hat? He said, yeah, I got a hat. And I don't know where the hat went.
The hat went somewhere.
We happen to have hats for sale.
Yeah, we happen to have hats for sale. CM, I mean, we can send you one and then you'll always be able to have a hat.
Well, Christmas is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And J-Bone Jr. here would love nothing more than to wear Ramblers Unleashed. Let's do it.
Jr. That's your name from now on, man. J-Bone Jr.
Listen, I gotta say, I do love these special nights. Last week it was Bill from TNI. Tonight it's Styles, the man who knows what a wooden dildo feels like. But listen, there is one thing that has to take place every show, and apparently I'm the one that's got to do it because nobody else is gonna, and nobody's gonna record it, so I don't have to do it every episode. So you do a great job. You introduce the Baron, you introduce me, you introduce J-Bone. Tonight you introduce Styles. Last week you introduced Bill with that really sweet jacket. By the way, I want one of those. That's sweet. I'd wear that on the show too. But
Bill,
listen,
if you're watching.
Yeah, Bill, if you're watching, I definitely want one of those. But listen, even if you are the host of the show, you deserve your own introduction. And it just kills me that you don't ever get one unless I force it to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you a man who fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. A man whose own mother looked at him and said, damn. Ladies and gentlemen, the man that puts the stories together, the man that hosts the show, sit down. It's Dizzy.
Oh, well, I mean, golfers clap. You know what? We're not going to record that ever. We're just going to make you do it live every single time.
Well, it's in my contract that I have to embarrass myself at least once an episode, so it may as well be introducing you.
It's got to be live.
Right.
I need to think of some heelish way to introduce you, man, because when are you going to turn baby face, buddy?
I don't think
Dude.
he'll turn babyface when you turn heel, sir.
He's the
Listen,
John Cena of the podcast.
I spent
I can't see-
years managing heels. I turned face for like 6 months. And let me tell you something. Being a face is no fun. You always got to do the right thing. You always got to go out there and make the fans happy. Well, screw the fans. Nobody cares about them. They're not the ones paying my bills. I'm paying my own bills. So screw you guys. And Dizzy, you're the ugliest motherfucker on the show. Sitting right next to that ugly guy right there, Baron. I love you.
Why? I don't know why you get so much damn love from him, and we all get to hate.
God.
I mean, look at my hat. I got a smiley face. I got blue eyes. I'm pretty much stoned the entire show, and I'm pretty calm unless we start talking about a certain promotion. And yeah,
Well, we're gonna talk about that certain promotion.
yeah, I know you got me in the buzzkill moment.
Yeah.
Listen,
All right.
Baron, I love you. So I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry that Dizzy always wants to torture you by making you talk about that company.
Yeah.
Well, Dizzy gets a pass. I've known Dizzy for I don't even fucking know at this point. It's just a long time, is what I say. So he gets the hall pass.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, let's get into some wrestling news. And of course, we have to talk about NXT Deadline. Man, what a PLE that was for NXT. Big PLE for them. Obafemi defeated Wesley, Javon Evans, Nathan Fraser, and Ethan Page. Lola Vice defeated Jada Parker by technical submission, which was amazing. Nathan Fraser and Axiom defeated No Quarter Catch Crew by pinfall. Trick Williams took home the championship, or kept the championship, rather, defeating Ridge Holland by pinfall. And Julia defeated Sol Ruka, Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya, and Ren Sinclair, which was a really good PLE. Guys, did you catch that PLE over the weekend?
Loved
Actually,
it.
no, I did not. But I will be here to listen and give some of my take on most of these talents. So
You should. I mean, I just watched NXT tonight, and it's such a good product, man. It really is, and I love that they're following the WWE take on how to effectively run a PLE and just giving you 5 matches. I love that.
So basically, it's like going back to, classic WWF, early WWE days when, small build up, several different matches and, not stretch it out like they're doing WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway from just NXT in general, though, is like there's no big names. Meaning, like, you got Ethan Page, don't get me wrong, but like these are up and coming stars that they're putting on the show, and like they're going out and like just giving it their all, and they're delivering. I think it also helps that Shawn Michaels is running the show there. We gotta give him more props like we give Triple H, because I think he's killing it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just overall a great show. It's good wrestling. I mean, we're not getting a lot of storylines per se or like mic work in my mind, but like the show's always good. It's well put together.
I gotta say, we do have something else coming up later where we're going to talk about lengthy shows. Was WrestleMania 33. Austin Aries took on Aaron Neville for whatever belt Aaron Neville had at the time.
Was that the 205 Live?
I think so, yeah. And I remember sitting down for that match and looking at the time going, it's like really early in the day. And that pay-per-view, that WrestleMania was 8 to 10 hours, including the pre-show, the kickoff show, and the pre-kickoff show, because they actually had 3 pre-shows before Mania that night or that afternoon. And I got to say, I love this slimmed down product that the WWE is putting out. I think that the 2-night split for some of the bigger shows is great because you can still all those matches, but nobody has to sit in front of their TV for 8 hours to see all of them anymore. Combined over the 2 nights, it comes to 8 hours, but 4 hours per night is really not that bad. And you can tell better stories this way, in my opinion.
I remember that WrestleMania when it was 8 hours long, and I had Bubba over, and Bubba was like, dude, I got to go home. And I'm like, but WrestleMania is not over yet. The best match hasn't even started. He's like, bro, I know, but I got to go home. I'm tired.
Oh my God, Mir, you have my sympathy.
Yeah, Mir was at WrestleMania 33. Oh my gosh. So yeah, NXT Deadline was an amazing PLE, and hopefully you watched it. You had a lot of fun with that one. Let's get into some wrestling news.
Real quick, there's one thing that wasn't on the results list that I want to point out. They had a really cool promo by Lexus King walking down the streets of Minneapolis, and he was talking about how he didn't qualify for the Iron Survivor. He's not even on the card. So why is he here in Minneapolis? He's here because this city holds a place in his heart. Not a special place, not a place that gives him joy, a place that's like a pit. And it was an amazing promo. If you have not seen that, you need to watch it. Yeah. For those of you that may not be making the connection, Brian Pillman, who was Lexus King's dad, died in Bloomington, Minnesota. And that's what the point of the promo was. He was talking about his dad. You need to go watch it. It's kind of tear-jerking. It's an emotional promo, but it's worth your time, I promise.
Very well worth your time. Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, as NXT is riding high on their recent success with their PLE Deadline, man, WWE continues to score big time. And TKO, of course, the parent company of WWE and UFC, is raking in massive public subsidies with WWE's upcoming 2-day SummerSlam event at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, scoring a record-breaking $7.125 million from the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority. This is the largest known subsidy for a WWE event in the United States, blowing past the $330,000 subsidy for SummerSlam 21 in Vegas and the $500,000 provided for the 2024 Royal Rumble in Tampa. The SummerSlam payout will offset a negotiated incentive fee tied to the event's projected $80.7 million economic impact on the region, including $34.2 million in wages and salaries. The NJSEA cited increased global visibility and economic activity for local businesses, hotels, restaurants, and more as key benefits of hosting this massive event. WWE commissioned the economic impact study from Applied Analysis, a common practice for large-scale sports and entertainment events. Now, in addition to WWE's big payday, UFC, another TKO brand, also secured a $5 million subsidy earlier this year for UFC 302 in Newark. Both subsidies draw from the Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund, part of the American Rescue Plan designed to boost New Jersey's tourism and hospitality sectors. And the SummerSlam funding still needs approval from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, but this is huge, man. This is big. And apparently word from Mark Shapiro is that the PLEs are seeing significant audiences. Marketing is going great, and Shapiro has hinted at future opportunities for the PLE library when the Peacock deal ends in 2026. So this is huge news for the WWE. We're seeing massive growth with the company, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like it's WWE's just always been WWE. I think the growth is always there. But yeah, no, I mean, like anytime they come to, that's why they're so important for just cities and what cities they go to. They're always going to bring some pretty good growth in the economy for the city. So that's always a plus. I mean, like I know it's very beneficial if they ever do a pay-per-view in the St. Louis area. Where I'm from. So like it's positive and it's good, and they get back to the community, and they're, you know, like it's cool to see a wrestling promotion actually do that and help out. But yeah, good for them.
Yeah, and Max, it's really cool because you have to think about going back to the early days of when the WWF was in the Attitude Era, and they were just starting to soar, and they were really in hot competition with WCW, and the impact that they had on that, any community or any city that they rolled into. Do you think it's different now with the impact back in the Attitude Era versus now?
Actually, yeah, I there's articles that float around after every Olympics, and it talks about the aftermath in the city, what happens after you have this big event take place, and it's amazing the income that it brings in, the revenue for the area that they do this in. But a lot of times after the Olympics leave, you end up with a ghost town and not enough money to pay people to clean it up. The WWE has always seemed a little different because I don't know about you guys. If you've ever been to a town after a PLE has come through, you don't, even with the people traveling in from out of state, out of country, all around the world, they come into town, and it doesn't seem like they leave as big of a mess behind them to be cleaned up. But that revenue that they brought in has set the city up to last for, and some of these cities do big events weekly, or like Madison Square Garden's a really good example. Madison Square Garden was doing big events at least once a week and smaller events the rest of the week. So that was able to support the revenue and the people in a surrounding area. Whereas some towns, Denver, don't really see the big events very often. And I'm not just talking the PLEs, because we did just have No Mercy here a couple months ago now. But we don't really get the championship game. Sometimes our teams will make it to the playoffs, but we don't get that big championship very often. But when we do, there's a mess to clean up after the championship is ended and it's all over. Thankfully, when the WWE comes through, we don't see as bad of a mess. I think part of that is the WWE spreads its money just right, and their income, the revenue that they get for what they do, offsets what they spend to help the city around them out.
Yeah, and St. Louis has been like that too, man. I mean, they've hosted a few pay-per-views for WWE. I know Kansas City has hosted a few pay-per-views as well, or PLEs now that we're calling them. But Styles, I mean, this seems to be huge for the company. Did you ever think that they would ever see these kinds of numbers?
I mean, like you said, the biggest thing you said there basically is COVID. You know, the pandemic wiped out a whole lot of these businesses. It definitely hurt the wrestling industry a minor bit, and even at the recovery, when we started doing like small percentages of venue for what was it, like 15 to 20% of venue can return to normalcy, and then as it progressed, the numbers got higher and higher, and now with the business booming back over again, and with everything going the direction it is between WWE and TNA and even AEW, I mean, all these numbers, they're huge. They're really big, and and as you said, Max, after these big events, just like you say, compare it to like the Olympics. After you see it, it becomes a ghost town, becomes deserted. But no, most of the time, these big cities, they restore, they clean up, and you can almost pretend as if nothing ever happened, but it's in the history books that it just did.
Yeah,
But
right.
but I think the difference between the way it's done in Olympic form versus the say WWE putting all this big money into such a venue is the fact that you got people all around the world going to this event, spending thousands of dollars to go to it, or hundreds of dollars, depending where you're coming from. Some people will leave a mess, others will say, let's clean things up. It's all about a city ordinance, and that's basically what's important, especially when it comes to US versus international.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also about bringing in dollars too. What's going to bring in the money?
Money is
Money
what
talks, man.
when it comes to money, I mean, you got to throw in big names for the attraction. If you don't throw in the big names, that money will not exist. And
Mhm.
in today's WWE, you got quite a big list of names, but card is always subject to change.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we'll definitely get to keep watching this growth of WWE. Terrence, good to see you too, buddy. Let's move on, man, because these PLEs have become a staple for us fans, streaming exclusively on Peacock. However, the deal with the Peacock is set to expire in 2026, and TKO CEO Mark Shapiro believes WWE's next streaming move could involve multiple suitors vying for their content. Speaking at the UBS Global Media and Communications Conference, Shapiro discussed the growing appeal for WWE's PLEs. He said, quote, the PLEs are seeing significant audiences. The marketing around the event has been terrific. And Shapiro emphasized the unique appeal of the PLEs, noting that they provide both high quality and high premium content in manageable monthly doses. He says there are a lot of platforms out there looking for premium and volume, but even smaller subsets, still enough for us, are looking for low volume but high premium. That's exactly what the PLEs are. And Shapiro also added that WWE's once a month format makes it a perfect fit for streaming platforms aiming to boost subscriptions or align with specific launches too. And WWE will start beginning their conversations with Peacock to renew a deal or renew a contract early 2025. But Shapiro says they're open to new suitors, and that Peacock knows that they're open to these new suitors. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to leave it up to the audience. Who do you think that they would go for as far as the streaming platform goes? Maybe Netflix? Could it be Max? Could it be something? We'll start with the Baron to see who you
What
think.
about me?
No, not you. Not you.
Oh,
Max.
Take my shine away from me, Max. He said the Baron.
Right.
So I'm confused here with this article. So you're saying like they're not doing the streaming service on Netflix?
No, they're doing. I think what they're talking about here is the PLEs. They're not doing the PLEs on Netflix.
I thought that was the whole point. I thought that was a streaming service so they could do the PLEs on Netflix.
Well, the reason that they're moving Raw to Netflix is because the whole the whole cord cutting thing is becoming huge, and they needed something to save Raw, right? Because of USA, I don't know if you know this, but USA and the other networks from Comcast have recently been spun off as their own network. So MSNBC, USA, anything Universal, they've all been spun off. So they're on their own. And if they were going to be able to keep Raw, I think Raw was going to ask for probably a significant amount of money or however that works. But what they're talking about here specifically are the PLEs. And we've known since the contract with Peacock is at 20 until like 2025, the PLEs are going to stay on Peacock. So where do you think that they would go? Do you think that they would go to Netflix?
I would hope so. I think it would not make sense for them to be on two separate streaming devices, because then you're really going to piss off the fan base. You got to remember our fan base of wrestling, okay? We'll spend $8 or $10 to grab a beer at an event, and that's about it. We're not going to go get a bunch of streaming services, even though I own them all. So here I'm a fucking hypocrite of it all. But like, I mean, like, in actuality, a lot of people are not going to want to go and get two different streaming services if they don't already. So I think it would be goofy on WWE's part to do that. I think the overall picture when it comes to just apps in general, I think Netflix would hold all of their stuff better than a Peacock or a Hulu or a Max. I think there would be more organization for Netflix than a Peacock. So I think they should for sure put it on Netflix. I think they would be very stupid to have two separate streaming devices for PLEs. For a PLE and a regular show. I think it's very stupid.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Styles, I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, when I'm looking at a streaming service or possibly subscribing to a streaming service, I'm looking at the content that they already have. Not, let's say, if it's not just wrestling related, I'm looking at other stuff that might interest me, and that is what's going to get me to subscribe. Like, for instance, I really wanted to see that new that Yacht Rock documentary on Max. and stop. So I subscribed to HBO Max, now known as Max, not Max Magus. So I subscribed to that service and I watched that, but I got it for like $2.99 a month for 6 months, which is crazy. So do you think that others would yeah, I know, and even with the death of the network, man, the network's gonna die. They're sunsetting the
taking the
network.
Canadian one away here shortly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, in a way, I'm not a big guy on streaming like I used to be. I mean, it's great technology. It's a great invention. You know, streaming's come a long way from the early 2000s. But nowadays, I mean, streaming has become quite the reliability compared to those who don't want to put the money into, like, say, a cable TV package or a dish network. So when you're on the go, what do people have nowadays? I mean, they have more than just, a computer. They have their smartphones. So guess what? You got something you can travel with. So they're gonna find whatever they can. But on top of that, when it comes to like things like this, you got to have everything stagnant into one network, and it would be stupid for the WWE to make multiple contracts out to say, all right, well, we're going to put one thing on Netflix. We're going to put all the big stuff on there, and then we're going to give NXT the independent treatment. Let's put it on something like Paramount or Hulu. Or better yet, what other platforms are? We'll put it on HBO Max or Showtime, stuff that people really don't invest their time into. You go for the major platform. So if they were to shift all their PLEs away from Peacock and just, you might as well just go back to saying, hey, I might as well just order this on TV and turn into a pay-per-view over again. Exactly what. But I mean, when it comes to the world of streaming is a really strange place nowadays. It's like you got too many platforms and people are pushing so much money that you're going to forget what you're even subscribed to. And you're going to be like, I didn't know it was on here and I didn't know what I was on there. There's too many gray areas when it comes to streaming in general.
Yeah, it's kind of like what AEW does, because you can watch the pre-show on Facebook and you can watch it on YouTube, and then when they go off, it's you can watch it on multiple different platforms. You can go to Dave and Buster's and watch it there. You can buy it on ppv.com. You can buy it on DAZN. You can buy it on Triller and all this. And Max, it's just, do you agree with that sentiment that it would just be confusing if WWE kept it on different platforms for their PLEs?
I mean, it could be, but let's think about something real quick, because right now, what do we have? SmackDown was on Fox while Raw was on USA. NXT started on the app, then went to USA. Now NXT's on the CW. SmackDown's moved to USA, and Raw's moving to Netflix. So technically, if you think about it, we're already on multiple platforms. They call them networks, but you have them on multiple platforms already. And I think if we sit here and look over the apps that we have, we can actually narrow it down pretty well to what the most likely ones are. First off, I think we all know that there will be no deal between the WWE and Warner Brothers Discovery, since AEW has a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery at this point, and they're on the the Max app. Showtime is actually with Paramount, so if they do go Showtime, they're going Paramount, but I just don't see that happening. I think that the three most likely places for the PLEs to land is going to be Netflix, because that's where Raw is. I'm getting to that. You just hold on a second. Don't get ahead of me. The second option is Peacock, because it's already been there. And a lot of WWE stuff has been a relationship with NBC and Peacock and Universal and USA and all their subsidiaries for how many years now? I mean, since day one, WWE has had something to do with NBC and USA. So that's a possibility. And that I could see the PLE staying on Peacock while the regular show goes to Netflix. The third possibility, as my wonderful companion has mentioned in the chat, is that it could go to Disney. Disney was one of the front runners to buy the WWE at one point. At least fan speculation had it as one of the front runners. Disney is buying everything up. They have Marvel. They have a lot of the Marvel properties have joined the MCU. You still got a couple out there on the fringe, but like Spider-Man, even though it's still over here, both companies are working together. So Disney owns a lot of stuff right now. So it is not outside the realm of possibilities that we start seeing the PLEs on. I was actually going to say Hulu, which is part of Disney Plus, making it a Disney Plus thing. But that means that we could still see Santina Marella as a Disney princess.
Why? But
The entire time he just was talking, he had that in his mind, and that's how he was going to end it.
Yep.
He didn't give a fuck about the other apps. The Disney was the end. I fucking seen this coming. Fucking back. That's great though. I mean, good point.
That was great. That was
great. Yeah, that was great. But I just
all that
seen it
build up
coming
just
from a
for
mile
Disney.
away. I'm like, all right, this guy.
Where is this going?
Disney was in the front running to possibly buy before TKO came in. And
I think Netflix though it has to be the show they go with. Netflix doesn't have any. Do they have any live streaming
other than that boxing match that was no?
So WWE would be. Well, there were so many people watching that. That's bound to
I
happen.
was frozen at Mike Tyson's ass cheeks. After that, I just couldn't no more.
I had to use bleach. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I had to get a retinal repair. All right? Give me a break.
Those cheeks weren't any worse than watching that fight. Because let me tell you, that fight was pathetic as hell. I think that has to be the only place they go to. I think Netflix is gonna throw them a lot of money for that, and I think it would be big for Netflix. So they need something like that. And I noticed too, Netflix has a lot of wrestling stuff on there already.
They do.
They got Heels, don't they?
The Heels is on there.
Didn't they get canceled?
Yeah, I mean it was on Stars for a while, and then it for some reason they canceled it. And they were I thought that they were talking about bringing it back because that was a kick-ass show, man.
Heels.
Oh yeah, that was a.
They canceled that show.
But they talked about bringing it back.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for why it ran.
Yeah.
I think Netflix would be a safe bet, and I think
they also have wrestlers too.
Wrestlers, yeah. They have a lot of stuff on Netflix already for wrestling, so that's why they're able to do that with the maturity rating. I don't see WWE going to Disney if they want to continue the route they're going now, because I think WWE is. I think we can all agree that they broke away from that TV 14 type stuff.
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, they're slowly, gradually starting to go the different direction.
When they go to Netflix, who knows what's going to happen? You know,
it's going to be family friendly again.
It better not.
I don't think so.
TVG baby.
No.
Let's go.
WWE's Con, the one that's not on cocaine, made a comment about the rumors of what kind of content we're going to see when they go to Netflix. And he basically said, don't worry, you're not going to see the graphic stuff that everybody's out there theorizing you're going to see on Netflix.
Yeah, I hope that's true, man. I really hope that's true.
If they can show Tyson's ass, I guess anything's possible.
Anything,
I mean, when it comes to me, I ain't got to worry about it because I don't have a Netflix. I'm probably the only guy in the world that does not have Netflix. Because
I don't have Netflix. I mean,
I'm going to be looking for ass cheeks on YouTube highlights, and that's as far as I'm going to go.
Well,
hopefully it's Liv Morgan's.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. You better watch what you say about Liv Morgan, man. You got someone down there ready to fight.
I will.
I'm looking for Liv Morgan, but instead we get Nia Jax or Brock Lesnar's cheeks instead. So I mean,
listen,
what route do we want to
go? You should feel so lucky. All right, I had to grow up watching Yokozuna's ass cheeks.
Oh, so did I.
That was a hell of an ass that Yokozuna had, man. Hell of a.
I mean, at least he.
Hell of an ass.
At least he moved around a lot. God rest his soul. Rest in peace.
My God, brother. He was the most able-bodied man. I swear. Anyway, let's continue on. Dijak, yeah, he's back in the news. Former WWE performer and current indie wrestling standout. He's found himself at odds with TikTok. The wrestler revealed today that his TikTok account, which has 16.8 8K followers and 46.6 thousand likes, has been banned by the platform, and he's not holding back. Taking to Twitter, Dijak posted a screenshot of his now banned account, and he didn't mince words either. He said, I don't even know what the hell I did wrong. LMAO. He said, TikTok, you suck anyway. Go F yourself. The blunt response drew a lot of reactions from fans who were just as puzzled about the ban as Dijak himself. The exact reason for TikTok's decision to ban his account remains unclear, whether it was due to a violation of community guidelines, maybe an error. The platform is yet to provide any kind of clarity. Meanwhile, Dijak has seemed to shrug off the incident with his trademark candor, leaving fans entertained and curious. What the hell is going on with Dijak, man?
I don't know. I mean, he's getting banned for TikTok shit. TikTok's gonna get banned, just like we need to ban Mike Tyson's ass from the internet. I mean, all hell is just breaking loose right now, and it's just like he shouldn't even have to worry about it. TikTok already sucks. We already know TikTok's a terrible platform. It's just it's like Netflix trying to go live with a boxing fight. That shit just none of that shit exists.
Look, that Dijak is no stranger to controversy. How did he get fired from the WWE? Because he made controversial statements that do not align with the requirements of the contract that he signed with the WWE. Doesn't matter whether they agree with his opinion. The company as a whole cannot have their wrestlers making the kinds of comments he was making. So he's no stranger to controversy. So if TikTok banned him, he probably took it a step too far anyway. But either way, he's not going to stop. There's other platforms out there. I guarantee you are going to see him on other platforms making the same controversial statements and getting the ire of whatever platform he's on.
So basically, it's like we're no strangers to controversy. You know the rules, and so do I. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I didn't even know he was on TikTok.
I didn't know either.
Social media. I had no clue. I saw this come up and I'm like, wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long ass time. And I was kind of curious as to what this story was about. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Dijak is just one of those weird characters, man. Welcome back, Marin. Do you know that Dijak was on social media at all? The Russell? Exactly. Dijak, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. My TikTok is not filled with a lot of wrestling stuff, so I haven't seen anything that he's posted. But I know he's a piece of shit. Didn't he leak out a bunch of information from WWE or something along those lines? Like,
I don't know.
There was a lot of weird shit that happened with why he got fired for WWE, and I don't remember the exact reason for it.
It wasn't relevant enough for me. So.
Yeah, does it surprise you in any way? Most people that get fired from WWE do some weird shit after the fact. Like Ricochet saying AEW wouldn't stand if it wasn't for me just last week. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, I'll get on their rant later. Never mind. But
they join a company, they think they're the
I'm going on a rant with them, but it's not a surprise. I mean, but also,
yeah,
it's TikTok. You're allowed to do whatever you want on there. I mean, like, they probably got a year left on TikTok before it's banned anyway, so who cares?
Not even like a month or so, they said.
Yeah, I mean, legal battles will probably last a long time. My TikTok's filled with the CEO guy anyway, so I don't know what's going on other than that.
Well, let's move on to the desk of Max Magus, and this involves ECW legend Sabu, who didn't mince words when sharing his thoughts on NXT 2300, the special episode held at the historic ECW Arena on November 6th. The event featured appearances by iconic names from ECW days like Bubba Ray Dudley, Rob Van Dam, Don Marie, and Nunzio. But Sabu, a notable absence, wasn't impressed with the show as a tribute to the legacy. Now, during an interview with Cumberland TV, Sabu expressed disappointment with the event, saying it lacked authenticity as an ECW nostalgia show. He said, quote, I thought it was lame, even though it's a good show, good wrestlers. It was lame for a nostalgia ECW thing, end quote. He also said the building doesn't look the same. It's not the same. It's not really a reunion or top-notch thing without me or Sandman, but both of us or one or the other, it's kind of a must, I think, end quote. He also pointed out that Heyman was missing, but refresh my memory, Max. Wasn't Heyman nursing a kayfabe injury after being attacked by the New Bloodline in November?
Yeah, absolutely. So Heyman was out because of the injury. Listen, I once got busted open at a show, and the following week I showed up at another show and refereed and took a spear from Jay Sin. By the way, the spear really hurt. But the problem with that was, if I had been keeping with kayfabe, as a referee, I was in no condition to referee that next show.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman loves this business. Paul Heyman will stick to kayfabe and not show up when he's out nursing a kayfabe injury, and not just a injury, a traumatic injury. The man suffered great trauma, mental trauma, at the hands of the New Bloodline. So yeah, he stayed home because he was playing the role that he agreed to play. Here's the thing, okay? So far, the only people I've heard have any complaints about NXT 2300 have been AEW stands. And let me be clear, if you are an AEW fan, I support you 100%. If you are an AEW stan, get the hell out of here. But I feel the same way about WWE stands, by the way. WWE fans are great. I love you guys. WWE stands, get the hell out of here. Okay? There is a point where you cross a line. And I got to be honest with you, Sabu is entitled. Yes, he has an opinion. He has every right to his opinion. But outside of him, the only other people complaining about NXT 2300 have been those AEW stands. So listen, Sabu, I don't know what you think you're talking about. Yeah, you got ECW experience, but somewhere along the way, you forgot why you do this. Somewhere along the way, you forgot that we do this for a reason. And it's those seats all around us. And I know I sit here on this show and I talk about, as your resident heel, screw the fans. I don't care about them. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we wouldn't have jobs in this business without those fans. Okay? And even as a heel, I can tell you right now that I embrace having those fans because they make my job worth it. When they start booing before I even open my mouth on a microphone, I know I've done my job. Mm-hmm. And as a heel, you knew that too. But somewhere along the way, you became entitled. You thought you were better than you were. And you started treating the fans and the boys in the locker room like they were second-class citizens. NXT 2300 was a very well done show. They were working within limitations because of the storyline with Heyman that he was part of coming up with. So get over it. Enjoy it for what it was worth and sit back and just enjoy wrestling. You don't need to be so entitled all the time. But, that's just you, I guess, Sabu.
Well, I mean, we could go back and watch Sabu's matches on ECW. I mean, hell, you can go back on our channel and look at the ACW review shows that.
No, cutting off now. No.
How about we restart those?
I just don't know why he's got to bring everything down. Look, Sabu, if you ever see this, buddy, please, I mean no disrespect, but you got to remember that times have changed, man. The WWE now owns ECW, right? And they took NXT to where you once wrestled. And no, it probably doesn't look the same because it's 2024 and the building probably got freaking modified tons of different times. So no, nothing is going to be the same, right? Nothing is going to be the same. And I'm glad that you said that it was good wrestling. It was good. The matches were good and all that. But I just don't understand why it would not be ECW without you or the Sandman. I don't understand where you're coming from with that. So it's not ECW if if Dudley's show up, even if Paul Heyman wasn't nursing a kayfabe injury, Paul Heyman wouldn't show up. RVD, you know what? I
Even
don't
got Guido. You even had Guido that night.
even Nunzio. Yeah, he's super into himself, man. And I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
It's called being fickle. It's fickle. Daniel Bryan mentioned that plenty of times. Fickle. Doesn't matter if you're a fan or a part of the business. If you're fickle, it's going to show. And that's exactly what it was. Like you said, it's the whole self-centered thing. It was always about him. Don't get me wrong. He is one of the greatest extreme entertainers out there. And he did some of the craziest spots that no other guy would do. He broke a man's neck, for Christ's sakes, but we won't talk about that. Or no. Another man broke his neck. There we go. That's better. And he still went out and he still did his job. But in the end, what did Mick Foley call himself at one time? A glorified stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Sabu is. And that is without any disrespect. But this guy, he put himself through the ringer, not just in ECW. He did this shit in freaking independent shows. He is working bingo halls and high school gyms for hot dogs and handshakes. As a matter of fact, he wrestled a match with Terry Funk in my high school gym. And the match ended in a double disqualification. And they drew blood in our high school gym and both got fined for it. And I don't know if that was kayfabe or not, but the thing is that this guy, he went out with a bang. Plenty of botches here and there. As a matter of fact, plenty of botches everywhere. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he even knocked a dude out for stealing his freaking headgear at Mexico or Japan, if anyone remembers that video. But the guy was always about himself. I mean, no matter how you see it. If you see any podcasts, or as a matter of fact, watch Dr. Bo Hightower. He actually had some kind of adjustment done with his back because of nerves and muscles. And he's miserable at this point in life, and it's just about him at this point. Like nothing else matters. And I get he put Sandman in there. I'm sure Sandman wouldn't have said the same thing that he said. If we didn't hear anything from Sandman, it's just he doesn't care at this point. He enjoyed the time he had. He lived the moment. Mm-hmm. And after One Night Stand 1 and 2, that was it for Sandman. I mean, Sabu, on the other hand, he has not moved on. When it came to NXT and 2300, it was great. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I caught a lot of highlights. I mean, yes, you got a lot of nostalgia with a lot of the guys. You got Dudley's back there. RVD was there. Nunzio, a.k.a. Little Guido, was there. I mean, you had the FBI. You had everything. You even had some hardcore style matches here and there. And a lot of good safe spots. Like you said, it's 2024. Things have changed. It's a WWE work style and not an ECW work style, and he has not yet accepted that.
And let me be clear about something. I did enjoy watching the genocidal, the homicidal, the maniac that is Sabu. I did enjoy watching it. The man does go out there and he puts on a hell of a show. It may not be the safest, but it is one hell of a show. But if you're gonna say without so and so and without me and without so and so, it's not ECW. What about the Triple Threat? No single member of the Triple Threat is still around to have been able to be a part of that. Without them, it's just not the same. I mean, if we're being honest,
you just got to give them a piece of humble pie. That's all.
Well, I mean, if you're going to drag other names in, I mean, God, we could go down the list of all the names that didn't show up that were part of the ECW roster. But, it's just to stroke his own ego. And look, and I don't mean any disrespect to you, Sabu. If you ever do see this, you are an absolute icon. You're a legend. Thank you for your contributions to the ring. But about this, you are absolutely wrong, man. Absolutely wrong. It wasn't a lame tribute to ECW legacy because everybody in that arena was chanting ECW. I guarantee it. Go back and watch it, buddy.
And for some reason, this has reminded me of why do we even have a script?
Right. Oh,
I mean, I would like to point out from an experienced individual who has spent hours of watching tapes of ECW, there is not a goddamn thing you can sit there and brag about with that. Please don't. I don't care. I've watched them all. I've seen the majority of them. I get it, what it is for that time period. But looking back, that was some brutal shit. Okay, like it was not great. It was not entertaining to me. This is my opinion, by the way.
Yeah, it was
Um,
cutting edge. I mean, it really was.
not great.
It was cutting edge for what it was back in the the 90s, early 2000s. It was cutting edge, and nobody else was doing it because nobody else had the balls to do it. And that's what I appreciate about ECW. That's what I appreciate about guys like Sabu going out there and doing what they did. And I'm not going to sit here and praise New Jack because fuck New Jack, but guys like Sabu, they were just they helped create this what we now love. So let's move on to go ahead, Max. Before we
the
move on.
ECW review shows, as much as you guys talk bad about them, they totally increased Baron's tolerance. we cannot deny that benefit of those shows.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, your tolerance level is good, just skyrocketed, bud.
I mean, I gave up on the greenery during that period of time. It just brought out the alcohol at that period.
I think all of our dude,
we were all drinking pretty good during those shows. I mean, you had to. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate them at the time, but looking back, it's just like as much as we love the Attitude Era of wrestling, and everybody should because it was a great period of wrestling. We'll never get that period of wrestling. Don't get me wrong. We'll love it for what it is. But if you truly go back and compare and contrast today's current product, when we're talking overall wrestling scheme of things, the Attitude Era was dog shit. If you're comparing it to wrestling today, when it comes to in-ring ability and those things. I mean, of course, we had the larger than life characters back then, but wrestling, in my opinion, is more modernized and a little bit better in ring than what it was then. If you go back and watch wrestling matches back then, you're going to cringe because they were awful.
See, for me, the ECW review show wasn't about what we were seeing on the screen. For me, it was about us all coming together, and we did a fair share of making fun of some of the stuff we saw. And that's what it was for me, was us coming together whether it was crapping on it or praising something. And I think for me, the highlight of doing the ECW review shows was the comment that we got about how we got some things wrong, but we were the most entertaining.
Who left that comment?
That
was somebody from ECW. Wait, was it
Isn't that how Axel Rotten got involved?
Axel Rotten, he commented on our channel, God rest his soul, and we invited him to come onto the show and correct us, and we never got that opportunity to talk to Axel. That would have been fantastic, man.
Yeah,
we talked to some people on the show.
Yeah, JTG. We've talked to Krista Joseph. I mean, we've talked to a lot of different people, but Axel would have been great to get on here.
That would have been good for the ECW show too.
Yeah,
look, he thought we were getting some things wrong, but he loved our reviews because we were very entertaining about it. Guys, I know that sitting through it was difficult, but it was never about the pay-per-view for me. It was about the time spent discussing it with you guys.
Yeah.
That's part of what I love about doing this show. Even when we have guest stars like Styles or Bill or someone like that, it's the sitting here and discussing these things. That's what matters to me. We all have our own opinions on pretty much everything, and there are things we don't see eye to eye on. But we sit down and we have this conversation about wrestling, and it's great. Even if we all hated the ECW pay-per-views upon rewatch, we enjoyed the time we spent discussing them with each other.
Max, you just gave me chills, man. That was amazing.
They were good times. Yeah, absolutely. Loved it. We spent a lot of hours on those shows. We did a lot of them.
I remember because I remember talking to Bubba about doing the ECW review show, and boy, I just love to listen to him get pissed off. Oh, it was so great. It was.
He got so fucking
Oh
pissed.
my god, he got
He
so
was so pissed about having to watch it.
beautiful.
He was so pissed one night he forgot to mute his mic when he went to the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, that was even a live show. That was just I don't know, man. Let's move on to some AEW news. And the December 7th episode of AEW Collision kept up with the promotion's focus on providing exciting experience for the fans. With this in mind, the ratings for the latest episode have been revealed, and they're sure to spark plenty of discussion as always. So we're going to talk about it for sure. So according to Russellnomics, the December 7th edition of AEW Collision garnered an overnight average viewership of 278,000 viewers, accompanied by a rating of 0.07 in the crucial 18 to 49 demographic. This marks an increase from the previous episode, which drew in 144,000 viewers with a 0.03 rating in the same demographic. This week's episode of Collision saw the Continental Classic continue as Darby Allin, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Briscoe won their respective matches. Serena Deeb wore a No One Cares t-shirt, and many other moments took place through that night. Now, normally, we've seen these declines in AEW with their programming and with the ratings especially, and it's hard because the holidays are here and everybody's watching maybe Hallmark, or maybe they're watching WWE, or they're watching football, because that's hard to fight against, man. I mean, look at the battle that WWF and WWE garnered when they were trying to battle the Monday Night Football and things like that. So it is as much as we criticize AEW for the product that is given forth to us, this is good. I like seeing the numbers go up, Max.
What, you said 244,000?
207. So the viewership garnered 278,000 viewers. That's a 0.07 rating in the crucial 18 to 49 demographic. Now, last week, their numbers were 144,000 viewers at 0.03 rating.
That's awful.
No, but it's not good. But compared to 144,
yeah, it's went up. Good. But but that's a live program, right? We're talking about Collision Saturday nights at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
244,000 people watching.
That's Baron. I know the numbers are messing with you. They're throwing you off right now. But from 144,000 to 278,000, that's not bad. That is not bad numbers for AEW, for their programming, for their ratings.
And the other thing you got to keep in mind is the night of the week. You pointed this out, Baron. You said, why are we doing a Saturday show? Nobody's home on Saturdays. People go out on Saturday.
No, 100%. I'm not going to argue that fact at all. But what is happening? I understand that it's on a Saturday night, and then Dynamite. What night is Dynamite on?
Wednesdays,
right? Mm-hmm. So that's still like an odd day for like television, no matter what you see. But like the difference between the show on viewership, I'm not saying an increase, because we see increase, decrease every week with AEW.
Well, yeah,
it does not matter. We see it all the time when it's 100,000, 200,000. We got college football that's on Saturday night, so I totally see that. However, Monday Night Raw competes against Monday Night Football, which is a larger audience, and they're still breaking over 1 million. So, but that's WWE, totally different promotion.
Did Vince Russo book this past Collision?
No, but that's what I'm trying to get at, though. Is like what is happening on Saturday with
their remotes die? Did they get stuck on TNT or TBS or whatever the hell?
Like those are very low numbers.
Low tier programming.
I mean, like that is not. You're not.
I know the numbers are. I know the numbers are low, but the thing you have to remember, the thing that you have to understand is that from a 0.03 rating to a 0.07 rating for AEW, Baron, that's not bad. Those are not bad numbers. They can do a lot better, yes, but with what we're seeing, that's not bad.
Tony Khan's over there like, there is hope. And then next week, watch it.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand the rating systems of that, because if I was an investor and I invested millions of dollars into a company that's getting 200,000 people watching on a Saturday night, whether it's football on or not, that I'm pulling out.
Plug pull right there.
What's that?
I mean, you have Warner Brothers Discovery that just invested in AEW, and they're probably
it's not AOL Time Warner.
No, they're probably looking at these numbers and they're thinking, okay, from what we've seen in the past, with the dropping of the viewership, obviously they want the flagship show, they want Dynamite to be up there in good ratings, but for Collision to pull these numbers, it's not bad, man.
First of all, I want to respond to something that Styles said. I don't think Russo booked the episode, but he did book your appearance. Listen, Barrett, let me try it from a different perspective, because while I agree with you, and I think these numbers are god awful.
Well, yeah, I'm not even sure. Like, I see what we're getting at here, though. It is an increase, which is great. And I'd love to see that, but it's such a crazy increase that it does not reflect what's happening at all.
It's not just an increase, though. We're talking a 100% increase. We went from 144,000 to 270 some odd thousand. We're talking almost 100% increase in viewers. Mm-hmm. And while those numbers are still pretty low, that's the investors are going, oh, hey, that's a 100% increase. Can you keep that going? And listen, I'm very critical of management at AEW, just like I was years ago with TNA on this show. I was very critical of management and the booking staff, the workers that are going out there every week trying to do their best to give us a show. I got nothing but love for them. I don't want to see this fail, because that means that they are going to be out their jobs. However, at some point, Tony Khan has to take a step back and go, what I'm doing is not working. Sure, we doubled our viewership on that one Collision from the week before, but we're just not doing that good of a job. What do we need to do to fix this? Oh, am I the problem? Cool.
It's going to be interesting. I'm really interested in seeing the numbers, because now that for next week, now that we've seen that it's gone up, maybe they can work off of this, man. Maybe they can say, hey, finally we got a lot of viewers, so let's take it up further. Let's take it up a couple notches, and while we're at Collision, let's do Dynamite the same way. Let's do Rampage this way, Yeah. Let's keep building up instead of building down. And I'm with Max on this, man, because we don't want AEW to fail. I don't want AEW to fail here. None of us do.
Oh, no. And yeah, let me make that record. Let me go out and say that. But that's not what I'm. Well, okay, maybe I do, but no, I'm kidding. But I guess I'm reflecting on looking at the numbers, because I got them pulled up here of all the ratings in the past for Collision, and I'm just not seeing the point. It's great that they've increased, but the previous week was also 300,000, and the week before was another 400,000. So it dipped to 144 and then went to 200. So I guess I'm just, they just need to improve so much on stuff. And the ratings just, I think once they stop caring about the ratings, the product will get better. I think they just try so hard to compete with something that they're not ever going to be able to compete with. And I just want to see a good product. That's my only complaint. I need to see a good product, man. It's not good.
That's what they've got to stop. They've got to stop trying to compete with the monster. They're never going to beat the monster, and that is the WWE. And
it depends on how you look at that, though, because they are very competitive with the monster in certain areas. for example, medical controversies. Listen, I booked this show. You don't. So listen, they're competing on the medical controversy. We'll get to that story here soon.
Yes.
They're competing on mistakes made because WWE made a lot of mistakes over the years. And right now, Tony Khan is trying to step in every single landmine the WWE did. So it depends on what you're looking at. AEW is very competitive in certain aspects.
They are, and I'm not saying that they're not competitive. I'm just saying that it's hard to beat the monster. It's hard.
Yeah.
And we saw that with WCW. When WCW was actually winning, Vince found a way to come back and absolutely murder them. And
Yeah, you know what it was though, right?
But I know, and I'm getting to that. WCW killed themselves. They killed themselves. AEW, eventually, if they keep going down this path, they are going to kill themselves. They're going to die a slow and painful death, and it sucks. And I wish TK would just wake the fuck up and say, okay, we got these numbers. Why did we get these numbers? Oh, maybe because I didn't book matches. Okay, I'm going to sit the fuck back and let my people do their thing.
Yeah, part of it is, and I've said that. What did I say when we talked about who killed WCW? I said it was the egos. You had too many egos controlling things in WCW. And that's the problem here. The ego is running the company.
Yeah.
You know who needs to step in? Because TK is never going to open his eyes on his own. Dad needs to step in. Dad needs to say, listen, I opened up my pocketbook to you for this company. This is what you're doing with it. Take a step back. I'm finding somebody to run the company the right way.
Yeah. I agree. We could, I mean, this is a conversation that we could just keep going and going and going and going. And it's time. Oh, we got one more sign guy here. I have another BS
Yeah, it's probably a BS announcement. All right.
Yeah, right. Let's move on to Baron's buzzkill moment. And this is kind of interesting. Mercedes Moné has set her sights on making AEW in Texas, All In Texas, rather, a larger than life event. She's aiming for Texas royalty to help her do it. And I hate that they call it this. Okay. The CEO and the reigning TBS championship, or the champion, teased her plan for the July 12th show at Globe Life Field during a TikTok Q&A, revealing that she's got a bold idea in mind for her entrance. She said, quote, Baron, I'm going to see if Beyonce is available that day. And first off, Beyonce's not from Texas. As far as I know, I don't think Beyonce is from Texas. Somebody Google that, and Max, you're on it. I see that. But
this ain't Texas.
With Globe Life Field set in, okay, she is from Houston. Okay, well, she is from fucking Texas. Then I take that back. But with Globe Life Field set to host one of AEW's biggest shows of the year, All In, Moné is clearly looking to pull out all the stops to make her entrance unforgettable. While it's unclear if Beyonce will be a part of the spectacle, the thought of her collaborating with Moné could be a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And if Beyonce isn't an option, who do you think would be? I don't know. Moné could still deliver another Texas icon to the stage. Maybe we could, Baron, get George Strait to intro Mercedes Moné. But if in all realness, though, if Beyonce says no, who do you think will offer a hand for Mercedes' entrance and All In, man?
I got so much shit to say it. I don't even want to say it. Like,
say it.
No. I mean, like, all 278 viewers are. I can't wait for that to happen for Beyonce to show up. There's a 100% increase. I mean, come on, let's be real here. I don't think Beyonce's showing up. I think we can all agree that's not happening, especially with what's happening to her husband at this point in juncture.
Right.
You know, like, that's not happening. It's cute. Yeah, cool. Let's, throw out Beyonce out there because, So who could come out and do her like who cares, man? Like, does Mercedes Moné deserve a big entrance?
No.
What has she done to bring in? Did she bring in the 100% increase on fucking Collision? Was that her? I don't think so. What has she done for the company in general, other than obviously take money away from the company and just boost her own ego? I mean, we all know I'm not a fan of Mercedes at all.
Yeah.
So hell, you might as well call up Jelly Roll. He's doing concerts nonstop. Maybe he'll come out and sing for you. I don't fucking know. I'm not even sure how she's still a champion at this point in time. How we've not moved on from her, because she has really. To get on topic about her, she has really done nothing for that company.
Yeah. Right.
At all. That was supposed to be their big draw for the women's division was Mercedes.
Well, we talked about it on this show. We thought that she would be the saving grace in the locker room for the women's division, and she hasn't done shit. She hasn't
done. Yeah.
She goes out to no pop at all.
Terrence brought up a good point. What has Okada done? But I don't think that's Okada's fault. I think that is pure booking of that piece of shit Tony Khan. Okada was like #1 rated wrestler in PWI multiple times, top 5 overall. Like, Okada was the biggest attraction in wrestling for quite some time, and they have literally shit all over him in AEW. And that's one massive of many complaints I have is regarding Okada. They've shit all over him. Like,
they've shit on a lot of their talent.
They have, and it's just because they have way too many people on the roster. The booking's not great. To get back on topic of Mercedes, I'm not sure what exactly she's done to deserve like a Beyonce introduction at all, but I hope she gets whatever she wants then, but I have a feeling you might as well call Jelly Roll or something along those lines. Brooks and Dunn might come out and sing Neon Moon for you. I don't know.
I looked it up, and apparently she who must not be named either sings or wrote her own entrance music. So since we're pretty sure Mercedes, I get it. Since we're all pretty sure that Beyonce is not showing up to sing for her, she may have to do it herself, and then I can just mute the TV again.
Look, I'm telling you, even if Beyonce showed up and did an entrance for Mercedes, I'd mute it.
Well, I mean, like, let's be honest. You're pulling 274. I get it, 100% increase from the previous week, and then 500,000. Normal, but like Beyonce is not gonna ever be interested. I know it was like a thing just said on TV to get people riled up or whatnot, but
they do pull. I mean, they do pull pretty big numbers or pretty big buys with their pay-per-views, man. So
yeah, I mean, their pay-per-views are great. Yeah, I agree. If they weren't 10 hours long, I don't think Beyonce is going to sit there for that long.
Yeah,
but yeah, Mercedes is delusional, 100%, Terrence. And then, like, I don't even think that's a character issue. I think that's just a personal issue she has in general.
But I think it's going to take a lot more for them to pull in A-listers like Beyonce to do an introduction than Mercedes Moné, because you're right, man. She hasn't done anything for the company. She's just a fucking leech. That's what she is. She's an absolute leech. And I wish somebody would say, well, that's not her fault. It totally is her fault, man. Listen to her mic skills. Look at the way she wrestles. Look at the way that she gets zero pop from the audience. Nobody participates with her. And yeah, I know she's a heel, but even when she came out as a face, she didn't really get a lot of attention, man.
Listen, I have said this before and I will say it again. It all started with an exploding ring. All right. In response to what Terrence said, the reason it's waning is you can have the best workers in the world, but if you're not putting out compelling stories, nobody cares. Brett versus Owen. The reason that match was so amazing was it was a very compelling story. It was about the sibling rivalry about two brothers, one who felt like he was always in the shadow of his brother, and the other one who didn't even realize that his brother cared that much.
Right.
You know, you want to get your numbers up, you got to tell compelling stories. If you want to tell compelling stories, A, you need to learn how to write compelling stories, or B, get somebody who does and give them the creative control. That is why the Triple H era and the HBK era are doing so well, is because these guys know the business. These guys know how to tell a compelling story. They bring in people to help them enhance those stories and make them better. The New Day story, that was phenomenal. I didn't see that. Did anybody here see Kofi turning?
Yeah. Well,
No.
Yeah, that was good. That was
That was
really
a good
good.
turn.
let's talk about what the New Day got when they went out there to cut a fucking promo. They got the Dominic treatment. You couldn't even hear them. It was
That's
fantastic.
fucking fantastic, and that was
Beautiful.
a great turn when they brought Big E out and turned on him, and they brought back the New Day sucks. I mean,
That's
that was fantastic. That is what we as fans want.
yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And Eric Bischoff has even said that they have no storytelling. What AEW is they're a company that like gets off on these high performance matches, and that is who they're targeting this promotion to, is the fans that like the high intense matches, but they don't want any storylines. I like to have a story every once in a while, so I know what the hell is going on.
What you're doing in that ring does not matter if you don't have a story. You could tell a story in that ring, but you still have to have a very good story outside of the ring to make sense. I mean, we all visioned this years ago when this company started, and they grabbed people from New Japan. New Japan doesn't. I mean, they have. Don't get me wrong. They have some storylines and shit over there, but it's
like
pure wrestling over there, and it's a high performance, high velocity of wrestling. I enjoy that from time to time, but when I got to see Ricochet, which I do enjoy watching him perform, he's still a great performer. But I can't do the flippy dooby doob unless I'm rolling my fucking blunt. It's just what I watched him the previous week, just this past week against oh shit.
Oh, I know who.
I can't think of his fucking name right now. But what I was watching was the same exact performance I've seen him do against Will Ospreay 20 different times.
Yeah,
I get it. It's cool. It's not flashy. The crowd is not popping I mean, we need stories, and that's what we need from there. And I hate to keep saying it week after week on the show because I feel like a broken record, but it's the god honest truth, man. Like it is so fucking, I'm gonna say it, awful.
Somebody send our show to Tony, please, and just say these guys are hitting it nail on the head. Like, please, somebody send it to. If I send it to Tony,
you send it to Tony, you're going to end up with a cease and desist, because that's usually how he does things, just like all them YouTube shares.
Well,
especially since we talk about him and cocaine a lot.
Right? Yeah.
And JR said it best. Oh, he went to the well one too many times. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Ricochet is amazing in that ring, but you don't want to see him do the exact same thing every single time he's in it.
Right.
Big Show. Did you know Big Show was a high flyer at his size? The man could move for being that big. And I mentioned to Rowdy Knight, my brother. I was like, why don't they let Big Show do more high flying? I wasn't talking about having him out there every match doing high flying, but more, because he can do it. He can move at his size. And Rowdy said that it's something you want to reserve for special occasions.
So did they do that with Yokozuna? Because Yokozuna damn near super kicked everybody.
I think we're talking about a different era of wrestling. I don't think Vince cared about whether he overdid a single move or not. He wanted everyone to see what a man Yokozuna's size could do, and he didn't care that the fans were like, okay, he's just done 63 super kicks out of 62 matches. But the thing is, though, you don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
I mean, even doing it once every couple of weeks with show would be overdoing it. Finn, when was the last time we saw the Demon King show up in a match?
Yeah. That's a good point. I think Shawn Michaels said it best years and years ago about RVD. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the interview with Shawn Michaels about RVD. He said RVD is a fantastic performer, great performer. The only thing that he could critique is that he doesn't have to show everything he has in one match. And I feel like that's what we're getting in AEW. We get everything, we're getting everything that they have in one single match, meaning like they're not telling the story or anything along those lines.
CM, Styles, you have something to say?
Thinking about this whole thing here. Don't say moonsault. That's internet nonsense. What about a 450 splash or even a shooting star press? Can the Big Show do that?
Well, yeah.
Impress me, please.
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting here reading this, and I'm like, it's just. I mean, it's in the back of my head, just like Santina being the Disney princess for freaking Max over here. It's just like
well,
nothing else mattered until he said that, and I'm like, yeah. I'd like to see a 450 splash in the Big Show still.
I would too. That would be nice. That would be awesome.
I mean, if he's a high flyer.
AEW could have some problems coming up because the pro wrestling has been paying really, really close attention to the Lucha Brothers. Phoenix and Pentagon's contract with the company have also played a huge role in that discussion, and there's a lot to unpack when it comes to Phoenix's contractual status, as he strongly hinted at injustice. So here's what's going on. Phoenix posted tweets seemingly directed at AEW without naming them. He claimed he was treated inhumanely and denied medical care. That drew a lot of attention and a lot of discussion within the pro wrestling world. And Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select said that AEW declined to comment on the recent claims made by Ray Phoenix. Sapp also noted that he contacted AEW both via message and in person during Monday's ticketing event. And AEW reportedly stated they would not comment, with an additional source indicating that they would not address medical claims under any circumstances. Sources within AEW were reportedly surprised by Phoenix's tweets, including how he felt silenced. While communication issues were acknowledged, no one in the outlet spoke when described the treatment as inhumane. One source reportedly mentioned that Phoenix had previously disagreed with a doctor who did not clear him to compete. The report also noted that the Lucha Brothers and PAC were set to win the AEW Trios Championships at All In. Creative plans changed following Phoenix's injury and rumors of WWE talks. Phoenix's contract includes injury time, and it's been extended into next year, into 2025. But on the other hand, Penta is now a free agent, and we'll have to see what happens with that. But WWE is interested in both of them, or was interested in both of them. And Phoenix may join Penta at his HOG wrestling appearances, and Pentagon is still in pretty high demand after his AEW exit. So what does this mean? Max, we turn to you, man, because you've been kind of following the Pentagon situation and the Phoenix situation over at AEW.
I actually just sent something over to you.
All right.
Or over to the group chat.
Yeah.
I found this like minutes before the show. Got distracted, forgot to share it then. Here's the situation. We have a guy who's talking about he had injuries that needed treatment, and AEW denied him treatment, told him to get back out there and wrestle. And we have a company that's claiming that they don't know what that's about, that he was demanding to be allowed to wrestle hurt. And the real reason that they are that they took him off, took him down from everything is because the WWE rumors. Well, listen, you had rumors about FTR and you didn't punish them, but here's the thing. There's a new rumor that I'm hearing from Wrestle Purists. They're the ones that posted it, and apparently they got it from Fightful. So take it for what it's worth. Apparently, people at AEW were talking about possibly giving Phoenix an early release until he started to talk about his situation. With the way Tony handles his company, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm inclined to believe Phoenix's side of the story. I'm inclined to believe that he asked for time off for medical attention, and they said you're fine. They had their back office people look at him and said you're fine. Get back out there. Blah blah blah. I don't believe that they did any of this because of the rumors of being in talks with WWE. Because if that was the case, you would have so many other people that were getting punished just because of having talks with the WWE. Like that guy J Bone would totally be getting punished for having talks with the WWE. I mean, welcome J Bone. It's good to see you,
Davon.
What's up?
Buddy.
By the way, J Bone, I want you to know somebody in the chat, you can find it for yourself. I'm not going to tell you who it was. Said that Styles looks like your brother.
The bone, baby, the bone.
A brother from another mother?
What's up, brother?
So J Bone, your assignment,
Styles.
your assignment tonight. What was his? What did we say his assignment was?
I think he had to get some baby oil or something.
Oh, yeah, something along the lines. Anyway, J Bone, we're happy that you're here, buddy, and we have a lot more to talk about as far as AEW goes. We're talking about the Phoenix allegations of inhumane treatment in the company of AEW.
Oh
And
my God.
It's not good. I mean, we have just gone down the rabbit hole of discussing what AEW is doing as far as
Jeez.
we've talked about their highs and now we're talking about their lows, and it's just a ongoing situation with the Lucha Brothers and where they're going to go next as far as, are they going to go to WWE? Are they not going to renew their contract with AEW?
Right.
They have no compete contracts, I would assume, at some point, or at least Phoenix would have a no compete contract. So it's so, I don't know what's going on at AEW. I really don't. With the Phoenix saying that he was injured and they wouldn't give him medical attention, yet they sent him out to the ring even though he wasn't medically cleared. That's a huge problem, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's a huge
It's
problem.
one thing if you're banged up and you tell them you're okay and you want to go out there. It's another thing if you tell them you're not okay and they tell you you have to go out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I just sat down to eat some soup. How long are you guys going to be on?
We'll be on for a little longer, man. Eat your soup.
Okay.
Brother.
And then I'll jump in my office and then I'll be able to get on properly.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Glad
Cool.
to have you,
Beautiful.
buddy.
All
right. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I mean, like that's serious shit, though. Like if he really does have an injury, I it's hard to ever believe hearsay. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's happening or anything along those lines. So
yeah,
who could be right in that? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I would imagine with all the high flying maneuvers they do in that ring that.
Well,
he definitely got an injury of some sort.
Especially if they're going after these high profile matches and the adrenaline that's in the ring, as far as what they're trying to do, is since they're not giving us any fucking storylines, their wrestlers are probably tired, man. You know, they're probably exhausted and they're probably hurt. And if they're not getting the attention that they need, that's a problem. And the only thing that I can think of, Max, this is if this is true, this is a huge liability suit for AEW.
I mentioned this earlier when we were discussing this before the show, and I pointed out that and I believe, like I said, I'm inclined to believe Phoenix. If what Phoenix says is true, Tony Khan has found yet another way to repeat a WWE mistake. Because if you remember, when CM Punk left the WWE, he was very vocal about how he had an injury that they just wouldn't treat. They just kept handing him stim packs or whatever they're called,
Yeah,
and said, "Here you go, you're good to go."
Z-Packs, I remember that.
Listen, WWE denied it, but not as strenuously as AEW has tried. I do want to say I give AEW credit for one thing. They did in their because that guy, I think it was Sean Ross Sapp, was trying to get them to answer questions and confirm or deny Phoenix's story. And the AEW people that he spoke to were like, listen, we can't comment on this. And even if we were willing to comment on it, there's medical involved in it, and we can never and will never comment on that. So at least AEW is smart enough to not go out there and try and say, well, this is the deal with his injury, blah, 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 because they know that if there's a real injury, they have violated HIPAA by releasing his medical without his consent.
Yeah.
So I will give them credit for that, but that's all I'm giving them credit for right now.
You know, we've seen this. It's just like Styles is what you said. CM Punk giving them Z packs, you know, and telling them, "Hey, go out in the ring." That's like a kid playing little league baseball, and he's legitimately hurt, and the coach says, "Hey, just shrug it off and go out there, you know, shake it off and go back out there and play and get us a home run or whatever."
You know, if it's not treated in a certain amount of time, that leads to permanent damage, and the company can be held liable for every ounce of that damage. Now, I mean, you know, Phoenix has been in AEW with his brother for how long now? A couple years.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, I remember reading up on a story last week, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this ain't good for AEW one bit. I mean, this also brings back, do you remember the early days, or I would say the midway through of TNA? TNA had the same issue with a lot of guys where they were dealing with a lot of nagging injuries. And of course, TNA, what kind of ring did they have? It wasn't traditional. So guess what that was doing? It was causing more pain and more agony to their bodies. 6 sides of fucking hell. And that's all you're going to remember it as. And between not being able to get the time off to, well, if you want to see a doctor, we can't handle it. You're responsible for your own, you know, your own thing, you know, your own medical expense. It's like this. If they're not going to give them the time off, do what CM Punk did, sabbatical. Get yourself over to whatever medical facility you can afford to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
No company worth going through what they're going through right now, because sooner or later, this is, like you said, with WWE, it's going to become a huge liability suit against AEW. Tony Khan's going to have a lot to answer to. Like you said, Max, the whole HIPAA thing. You know, if they're playing that part, you know, playing that role, I mean, that's the only thing that's going to protect them. Other than that, someone from the medical field is going to want some kind of requirements from their medical staff, because if they're ignoring Phoenix, guess what? They're going to get sued into oblivion, and guess what's going to happen? Not only is he going to leave the company, he's going to walk away with a shitload of money.
Well, if they're ignoring Phoenix, it makes me wonder who else they're ignoring. You know, how much does CM Punk actually know about being injured on AEW, and how many AEW wrestlers were actually injured when they were out there working? You know, this would not fly. This would not fly in WWE. They'd bench Phoenix in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
They did that with, so I mean, God, they won't even let Edge come back and wrestle. You know, they won't let Big E come back and wrestle. So it's just an ongoing development that we're going to keep an eye on, and it's a scary development too. That just to think about this, like these are these are entertainers, but God, they're people too, man. They have families that they need to provide for, and that's why they do this out there. But they need to be able to do it safely. And if a company is not giving them the medical attention that they need, that to keep these people safe, to keep their employees safe, who else is going to step forward and say, this has happened to me too. Phoenix isn't lying about this.
Yep.
I
It'll
say
become a movement.
I talk about safety on our show all the time. I talk about how I love the brand split because you reduce the amount of matches that people are forced to perform every week. I've talked about how there are moves that I think should not be a part of wrestling. This is a big deal for me. That's part of the reason I'm so inclined to believe Phoenix, is because why is he going to go out there and say, "Hey, I've had this injury. They're not helping me with it." You got to protect your wrestlers. You have to take their safety first. This is one of those stories where I'm going to keep following it because I want more information. I want to know, because this does involve the health and well-being of a pro wrestler. So I will assure you, if something new comes out, I will bring it to the group and we will discuss it more as it comes out.
Yeah, well, we will definitely keep our eye on this development with Phoenix. Let's move on and talk about Jim Ross, man, because he's been very, very vocal, not only with AEW but with the WWE too. And this time he's talking about AEW, and specifically the content working in AEW under Tony Khan. However, he's not really shy about sharing his opinions on the current product. In fact, Jim Ross believes AEW pay-per-views may have too many matches as well. Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast, and we've talked about this time after time after time, Jim Ross talked about how to handle gimmick matches on a pay-per-view event. He said there shouldn't be too many gimmick matches on the card. Ideally, there should be just one, maybe two, to make the match feel special and stand out. Jim Ross also pointed out that every match on the card should be protected, meaning each match should feel important. When it comes to AEW pay-per-views, Ross noted that they typically feature more than 8 matches. Conrad Thompson commented that AEW pay-per-views are known for offering a lot of value, with fans getting plenty of great wrestling. He also mentioned that AEW events featured as many as 12 or 14 matches. Now, Styles, it's crazy to me to think that we have to sit through that many damn matches to get to the freaking pay-per-view when WWE has a 2-hour pre-show and 5 matches total in the whole PLE. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, stack card.
Yeah,
They're doing the UFC route. Remember, you got TKO involved now. And what are they known for? MMA. What is MMA known for? Stack cards. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to keep writing the whole thing out, just like a boxing event, just like MMA, just like anything else. They're going to have from the ass crack of the afternoon all the way to about almost 2 a.m. morning, and they're going to have 3-4 hour pre-shows, pre-show before the pre-show, pre-show. It's just like how much do we really got to get? I get we're getting their money's worth. That's great. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, this is the greatest event of all time. This is something you're never going to forget." Of course, you're never forget about it. Well, eventually you are, because you're going to forget what happened the first 4 hours of the whole entire thing, and then behind that, you're going to forget half of the rest of the shit along the way, because you're going to see so many spectacular moments, things that are, how do we say it, Polaroid. It's the Polaroid moment.
Yeah, I mean, you remember it.
Like, that's the only way you're going to remember it. But when you want to talk about it, you're going to have almost 8+ hours of content that you're not going to know how to talk about it, because too much happened at one time. And it's just like with Raw being 3 hours. Great idea. It should have been a specialty instead of writing it out for all. You have almost a decade's worth of 3 hours worth of Raw. And then we break it down to 2, and then they're like, "Oh, well, now we got to work with time constraints." But when you had 3 hours, you had more story time than you had in ring time. It kind of watered things down a bit.
But it's, I mean, you can always balance everything out, man. There are ways to balance stuff out as far as that go. And I mean, Baron, we've seen what the WWE does within 2 hours of a weekly show, and we've also seen what the WWE does with just 5 matches on the whole damn card with a 2-hour pre-show to hype it up. So for me, you're not. I don't think you're getting any more value than you would paying, Peacock $6.99 a month to get a 2-hour pre-show and 5 really high top quality matches versus 12 to 14 matches for $54.99 for an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I think should happen. I think wrestling should come up with a clause called the J-Bone clause. And we're calling it the J-Bone clause because, we got to remember our viewership or of the age of J-Bone. And for shows that go for past 8 hours, it can no longer happen because, they're going to fall asleep in between. Yeah. We talked about this on the show hundreds of times, man. Like, you do not need 12 matches. But unfortunately, with their roster, they have so many people, they kind of have to, or they would be shit out of luck, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, there's not many options unless they start throwing some of their bigger names on Collision so they can get it up a little bit higher on the viewership. But I got to keep saying that just to fuck with you. But like, I don't think we talked about it hundreds of times on the show. Like, the biggest thing that I'm seeing from the difference between the two companies is the amount of matches. And the more matches you have, you start losing those beautiful stories that we all love. Like JR said, I mean, not every match has to be a gimmick match. Right. It doesn't need to be. Even though he comes from the era where every match he commentated was a gimmick match.
We need Vince Russo in AEW.
Yeah, right.
We're at that point where we're going to need Vince Russo in AEW because everything's going to be on a pole or on a forklift.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt, but I think they need to take advantage of the 2 shows. They have 2 shows for a reason. I think we need to see more stuff happening on Collision, help out the roster, help out the viewership and stuff like that. They just need to nail down the storylines, man. Simple as that.
Well,
be better.
Yeah, and I think they need to. I mean, I personally think they need to condense this. I think that they need to make the pay-per-views similar to what WWE is doing, and it sucks that
5 matches. That's all you need, man.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need. Look, you don't need to give us all these freaking matches that I guarantee you nobody's at the end of the night. Max, we've talked about this numerous times, man, that we don't need all these damn matches on a pay-per-view. It kind of gets boring, honestly. I mean, it takes away from the product, man.
So here's what I did. I pulled up Survivor Series War Games from this year, and I pulled up Full Gear from this year. Now, looking over the Survivor Series card, there's only 5 matches. We talked about that. You had the women's War Game match, Rhea, Bianca, Naomi, Io, Bayley, taking on Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae. Then you had Shinsuke taking on LA Knight, Braun taking on Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, Gunther and Damian Priest, and then you had the Women's War Games match, New Bloodline versus OG Bloodline with Punk. Okay, so if we think about the roster, we may be missing a couple names here. Like Seth Rollins didn't have anything booked on this card, but we had a tight, clean, organized, efficient, entertaining card. Seth is very entertaining, but it wasn't like he was necessary to make this a good card. Full Gear 2024, we had 12 matches, 3 pre-show, and I'm actually not going to count one of those. 2 pre-show, 11 matches total, because we put TikTokers on the pre-show taking on QT Marshall. I'm sorry, what? I know the WWE has done some specialty matches like this before, and I know that they sucked then, but WWE has learned from their lesson. They have trimmed it down. Now, Mania, SummerSlam, these are 2-night shows. You might see 10 matches for the whole PLE, but you're not seeing 8 hours of 10 matches for the whole PLE. And that's what's the big difference for me, is because I'm not sitting here from 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon until almost midnight waiting for the wrestling to be done so I can go to bed and get up for work the next day.
Right. Yeah.
And you can tell you do a better job with your storylines if you're not spreading yourself so thin. I think that's part of the win of the Triple H era is he figured out the less we put on the card, the more focus we can put on each individual match to make it the highest quality possible.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, Jesus, J-Bone, there's been times where you and I have watched like AEW pay-per-views at the same time, like you there, me here, and we're just watching it. And it gets over at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, holy shit! It's a Sunday night. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to take my ass to bed because I got to work tomorrow. It doesn't even make it. It's like going back to the WWF days when they had their pay-per-views. I don't even know how late they ran, but I'm sure they ran fairly late. Not as late as AEW though.
Yeah, I'm not sure how late they ran because, well, just my brain doesn't go back that far. It goes pretty. I mean, shit. Don't ask me what I ate yesterday. But yeah, it's some companies put way too much content in their shows, and some do the bare minimum, which is perfect. And it's not when I say bare minimum, it's not a knock on them. I'm saying is like they got a handful of matches, like you're saying, WWE on these PLEs, and they let them they let them breathe. They give them space. And they show all the promos in between, and it's all part of decent storytelling. So you got all your factors. You got your promos. You got your matches that are all. So yeah, they need to
clean it up, man.
They need the J-Bone clause to be put in effect. Understand that there's people that have bedtimes, and let's go from there. I think that's right. A good clause to put in, J-Bone clause.
That's right. Us old farts can't handle them.
You said it, not me. I didn't say anything about age here. I just said J-Bone. Okay.
I gotta say something, Styles. It's so good to see you, bro. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. I mean, it's been a rough couple months, but overall, I'm overcoming everything. Back on the mend.
Good.
On the path of getting healthy again.
That's awesome. Man.
That's awesome.
Good to hear, man. Are you still gaming on Twitch and stuff?
So when it comes to gaming on Twitch, I kind of left Twitch streaming. I moved over to a site called Kick instead for now. There was a lot of controversy. We won't get into it on here. I'll explain to you later on.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on over there. So I just kind of left the platform for a while. I mean, I go over there still to support friends and stuff.
Right.
They'll do their thing, because that's what friends do, is support other friends. If they follow you on another platform, that's one thing. If not, that's no big deal. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's not going to make me sit in a corner and cry. That's what Max Magus is here for. So it's just,
Oh, poor Max. Look, he's sad. Don't say that about Max.
Oh, wait. I almost understood you. Did you take the wooden dildo out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Wow. Gus.
Shots fired.
Well,
pew pew pew.
You invited me to go watch your stream earlier.
Yeah.
You were gaming some WWF No Mercy, man. I saw that.
So check this out. I have this little device right here. I still play my Nintendo 64. So I have this little EverDrive. It has this little this little SD in here. So I have all the wrestling games that they have. from
Yeah.
the US. I have Warzone, I have Attitude, I have Hardcore Revolution, I have what was it? Backstage. I saw
Wow.
everyone loves that game. But on top of that, I have like WCW, NWO World Tour, Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy 64. But behind that, I have two special ROMs that someone created. There's some ROM hacks. I have what's called WrestleMania 1064. So it's basically they take like the early 90s or WWF stuff before, the Attitude Era. You get the golden era in there, and I think it's pretty cool. You got a lot of good talent. And then someone redid No Mercy and called it No Mercy Plus, and it strips down a lot of the stuff from the main menu and then adds extras. You get extended entrances. What else is there? Like full theme songs. You're not getting a half-ass product anymore. You're getting a better product. There's still some bugs and glitches, but this is the stuff I do. I mean, I stream that. Besides that, I play old games like Mario, or I play modern games like PUBG and Rocket League.
Yeah.
It's the fun things in life that keep me going and keeps everyone interested.
So you
That's cool, man.
yeah, so you stream on Kick. How can
I'm on Kick, so you can find me on Kick with the name The Activated Styles. So basically, this name right here, and just throw STYLEZ behind it, and come on over. Maybe in a few months, maybe I'll come back to Twitch, but I'll probably end up doing the restream, and putting my talent on both platforms, and putting the past behind me, because I already got like 1,400 people over there that would love to watch. And then
Nice.
now over on Kick, I've been there for about 6 weeks, so maybe a little bit over that, and I'm just about to touch 100 finally. Most of them were bot accounts, but
well, Kick is a different. Yeah, Kick is a smaller platform. Kick is, and I'm really big into like gaming streaming, so like I follow a lot of people, and I have for many years. Kick is a very weird platform, and I feel like it's only for just chatting.
So actually, when you say it that way, I'll fact check on this one. There is a lot of just chatting, but you will be surprised to find gamers. The only problem I have with Kick is that it's owned by Stake.com. If anyone knows what Stake.com is, it is a gambler's website. Now, me being a former gambler myself, I mean, I play lottery from time to time, but I never had the gambling addiction, so it doesn't affect me. But out of respect that I used to gamble, I refuse to go to that part of the platform, and I actually just go into my Kick and cross out. They give you selection of what you do and don't want to watch. So if you don't want to watch hot chicks in a hot tub, which, don't get me wrong, I can do that all day. That's not the reason I'm on the site. I'm not going to go to a gambling site to watch gamblers. I'm going to go watch retro gamers and modern gamers. That's what you develop that part of the site for. Everything else should be subsided into another part of the site to where we don't have to be on there. It can redivert it to like stake.com. They can have their stuff. But the same thing applies with Twitch. They have, if you don't want to watch hot tubbers, then just censor it out of your feed and we'll filter it out for you. So,
well, give Styles a follow, man, because he does a lot of retro gaming. And if you like retro gaming, if that's up your alley, make sure you give him a follow over there on Kick. We have a lot more to discuss. J-Bone, I'm glad you're here because we have some TNA news to go over. And TNA Wrestling's bold decision to let fans choose a location for a major 2025 live event has taken an unexpected turn, with questions now swirling about the legitimacy of voting processes. So while fans were promised the power to decide between New York City and LA, recent revelations suggest that the results may not be as straightforward as they seem. And if you said, well, gee, who said that? And you said Dave Meltzer, you would be absolutely correct, because Dave Meltzer says TNA claimed that more than 1 million votes were cast in the poll, a staggering figure for a promotion that hasn't drawn larger crowds than 3,000 in years. Despite the fan-driven poll, TNA later announced dates for events in both cities, raising eyebrows about whether the voting was simply a promotional gimmick. Rebellion is set to take place on April 27, 2025 at the Galen Center in LA, which is a capacity of over 10,000 seats, but it will likely be set up for around 7,500 seats for the pay-per-view. Meanwhile, Slammiversary, that's going to be held on July 20th of next year at New York's UBS Arena, which can hold up to 19,000 fans, but it's expected to accommodate 13,500 for wrestling. These larger venues represent ambitious moves for TNA, which hasn't sold more than 3,000 tickets for a show in years. So, J-Bone, what's up with this, man? I mean, are they really trying to cause any controversy over the legitimacy of these polls or the voting processes?
No, look. I mean, let's remember what we're talking about primarily here. What are we talking about? We're talking about wrestling, okay? I think people are still and not to talk about real politics, but let's just say I think some people are still upset or still in the mix with the whole voting process from early November, you know. So people look at this and they go, "Oh, then this must be wrong too. This is horrible. What are they doing here?" It's like this is, guys, come on. This is wrestling. Let's not overthink this. I don't wake up in the morning and look at this and go, man, if I can't figure out how many people voted for this city or how many people voted for this city, and this is going to absolutely wreck my day, get a different hobby. Seriously, folks. I mean,
you know whose day it wrecks though? Dave Meltzer.
Okay. Well, where are they deciding? Like, who's complaining about this? Who is saying that like the numbers are skewed or per se? Is it just wrestling fans or like?
I think Meltzer just sits in his basement.
I think so. I think he sits in his goddamn basement and just plays with things and like it comes up with shit and then makes us sit on a podcast and contradict everything.
You mean like Tony fucking Khan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that makes a whole lot of sense why Dave Meltzer and Tony Khan are like two peas in a fucking pot.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. It doesn't matter where TNA goes. I'm gonna say I'm not an avid viewer of TNA. I don't watch it weekly. I'm not J-Bone. So if you're here to hear my full opinion on TNA, I'm sorry. But everything that I have caught, everything that I have read, it doesn't really matter where they're going or what they're doing. It seems like they're going in a very good direction for the company. So that's a positive, unlike we were just talking about another promotion just a little bit ago before J-Bone came on. And we just dog shitted it for a straight hour. I can't say anything negative about TNA at this point in juncture from everything I've seen and read. So wherever they're going, I'm sure it's going to be great. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter what poll it is on any topic is probably fucked. So let's go ahead and move on from any type of polls. Okay.
Except stripper polls.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Asterisk on that poll, Mark.
That's a really good point. Well, let's
wait. You mean to tell me a wrestling company staged the outcome of something? I'm shocked. Tell you, shocked.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Let me tell you something, okay? We've talked about it here, and it's going to happen. Dizzy volunteered me to do something, and anybody who knows me knows I'm all about the cheap pop. I can't give you an exact date just yet, but it's coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you about the last time I did it, all right? I had to do it for a wrestling show. We put on the website 3 things. I don't remember what the third was, but the first 2 are the important ones. Which dress should Max have to wear to the ring? The second question was, which song should Max have to come out to when he wears said dress to the ring? We fudged the voting. We set it up to where when anybody voted for anything, it added 2 votes to the one that we had already picked. Somebody already purchased the dress for it. Somebody already had the music picked out. So the fans who thought they were voting for something that felt like they were involved, they got tricked by a staged outcome to a poll. Guys, it's pro wrestling. Meltzer, shut your mouth. It's not that big of a deal. Tony Khan does the same thing. He stages outcomes to stuff. It's a wrestling company. If you haven't figured that out yet, are you really that knowledgeable about the business? Because I honestly don't think you are.
Well, at least they narrowed it down to 2 major cities in the United States, and New York and like Los Angeles. Those are
Two of the worst
predominant,
cities.
pretty predominant cities in the United States. So they're going to have many people there at the show. So that's good for them.
I wouldn't go to either. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't.
Escape from New York and Escape from LA. Remember those movies?
Great fucking movies, by the way. Let me just throw it out there. Beautiful fucking movies.
Snake Plissken.
Snake.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, come on. Look.
There you go. Look at that.
There
The
you go,
DVDs
buddy.
too.
Yeah.
Great movies.
Well,
Love it.
There we go.
the last there you go. The
Good
last
song.
thing I have is, of course, this weekend is the return of Saturday night's main event on NBC and Peacock. It'll be at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in New York.
Hell yeah.
The Body Ventura will provide commentary, which will be exciting to some of the fans that miss Jesse the Body Ventura.
Trying to bleed.
Yeah.
I know.
Dude, I love Jesse the Body. I am so glad he is home in the WWE. And it took Vinnie Mac stepping down and walking away for Jesse the Body to return. And it was one of those things where I don't think I'm out of my league here in saying this. For those of who are fans of Jesse the Body, who maybe thought it'd be cool for either Hall of Fame or special event, special appearance or whatever, just knowing that Vince was never going to leave, until all this stuff happened within the last couple of years with Vince. Man, as far as what was in your bingo card for the year? Oh, Jesse the Body coming back for a Saturday night's main event for WWE. What? What? Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked, man. I'm old school. I love them.
And it's kind of cool that they're bringing it back to NBC where it debuted. So that's even better. Guys, do we want to run down the card and give our predictions on
Let's
this?
fucking do it.
All right.
We're not going to be live Saturday. We might as well, unless we want to go live Saturday.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it.
Well, I'm actually off on Saturday, so it's a possibility.
All right. So we'll talk about it coming up here. Let's kick it off with Styles, man. Let's go with you, buddy.
All right, so
Is-
let's see what we got here. World Heavyweight Championship between Gunner, Finn, and Damien. You want my honest opinion on this one? I think Gunner's going to walk away from this, but the thing is, this match has nothing to do with Gunner. It has nothing to do with him at all. It has everything to do with Finn versus Priest. Gunther is just in that match defending his title, which means Finn's going to find a way to try. Gunther's probably going to win the match, but the thing is, it's going to be Finn that cost Damien the match in general. Women's World Championship between Liv and Io. Since it's Saturday night main event, I don't expect any title changes whatsoever. So we're going to give this Liv Morgan probably a little distraction by.
All right, good.
So yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, it's going to be a Liv thing, and yeah, look, Baron's getting excited over this one. I'll get some paper towel lotion for you here in a bit, but Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, I see that being probably a double count out. I see that being the only match that takes into a double count out. Only for the fact that it's been how long since we've had a double count out style match, and the best time to do it at Nassau, Saturday night main event. These two are going to take into a no contest and probably lead to another match down the road, possibly on SmackDown. When it comes to Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre, I already smell Claymores coming out of nowhere. So Sammy's going to work it a little bit, but Drew's going to be the one that walks out alive on this one. I mean, come on, when we're looking at these matches, this is pretty typical booking right one. And if there's anyone that knows about that, it's this guy right beside me. He'll tell you right now because I don't know shit. The tournament for the inaugural Women's US Champ, Chelsea Green versus Mitchin. Oh, Chelsea Green's probably gonna be the one that takes this because why not give a heel the US Championship to start it out? Pave the way with a solid, annoying heel. Because let me tell you, she plays that role well, and she learned from her man. Woo. Oh fuck, he's dead, isn't he? Zach is dead.
Oh my god.
If anyone saw that promo, Zach is dead. Matt Cardona has done a fantastic job of helping her improve her career because she rubs off of him and he rubs off of her. So I see Chelsea Green becoming the first ever United States Women's Championship.
There you go. There you go. Thank you so much for your prediction, Styles. We'll move on over to Maximilian, and let's start off with the World Heavyweight Championship between Gunther, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. Max, who do you got on that one?
Listen, Styles sits here and says he doesn't really know anything about wrestling, but I want to point out that he had a very excellent assessment of this match. The Finn Balor, Damian Priest situation, they're going to be so busy dealing with each other. Gunther's going to just take them out. Gunther wins and retains his belt.
Okay. The Women's World Championship between Liv Morgan and Io Sky.
So something really funny happened after War Games. They were doing the interview with the Rhea Ripley's team, and one of the reporters asked Io Sky. She said, "So Liv Morgan's going to have Raquel Rodriguez in her corner. Are you bringing any backup for your match with Liv?" And Io sat forward and said, "I'm part of a group called Damage Control." So, that being said, I think Liv's going to retain her belt.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
Oh, this is going to be a fun little match.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the situations in the WWE that I was talking about last week, where they've done a really good job of telling a compelling story without making it clear who the bad guy in the story is. I mean, I look at it from KO's perspective. All of his best friends have sided with Roman at one time or another, despite what Roman did to KO. So this has been amazing for me. I am going to go with Cody for the win on this, but I think that this story is far from over, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre.
I love Sammy. I really do. The problem is, I think that I really think that they're going to have Drew brutalize the hell out of Sammy. Yep. Drew is mad about.
I think we lost Max. Up there, there you are.
We lost.
I said
what?
What I said was I think Sammy's in the middle of several of the things that Drew McIntyre is upset with in the WWE right now. So I really think Drew is going to brutalize him and go over in this match.
Yeah. And Chelsea Green versus Michin.
I am so happy about this match. First off, I think Chelsea Green deserves more elevation from the company. And I think it's been too long since Michin got any kind of real rub from the country or from the company. Yes, she's been in some high profile matches over the last couple of years, but it's like they treat her like she's not that big of a deal. So to see them both come down to being the finals in this match, bravo to the bookers. That was a great decision. At the end of the day, I love Chelsea. I really do. I really think that she will be your first women's U.S. champ.
Well, all right. So let's move on to J-Bone. And we'll start off with Gunther versus Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Who do you got, bud?
Oh man. I think Gunther's gonna keep his title here, but we're gonna have a hell of a fight. And a lot of it, I think, is actually majority of it's going to be from Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
Yep.
And not that I don't think we could ever accuse Gunther of being sneaky, but I think this is a case where he's going to sneak in there and get a win after these two are exhausted each other.
Yeah. Liv Morgan and Io Sky. What do you have?
Oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Probably Liv Morgan. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Judgment Day right now, so they're gonna keep that that fire going.
I was gonna say, if you didn't say Liv, man, your neighbor was.
Yeah, I would probably actually just leave the call if anybody else said anything other than Liv.
Well, Io Sky is an absolutely amazing wrestler.
Fantastic.
But here's the thing, though. The big thing right here is the Judgment Day and all the drama surrounding it. Yeah. Io just happens to be a pawn of the month right now. So.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, J-Bone.
Oh man. I think Cody's gonna win, but if it was up to me, man, I would shake shit up and make Kevin champ. I really would.
But is this for the championship though? Because I don't think it is.
Thought it was.
I don't think it is.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I don't think it. I really don't think
no.
It No. Let me go back and look.
Well, it says undisputed WWE champion Rhodes goes to war with Kevin Owens.
I didn't think this was for somebody in the chat. If you know,
I just pulled it up on Wikipedia, and it does say it's for the title.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I didn't think it was for the title, but all right. It's for the title.
No, you can call it a grudge match or you can call it whatever you want, but yeah, the title's in play here.
See, I thought that, I didn't think the title was in play, but that just changes everything. So who do you got? You got Kevin Owens?
I don't think Cody's gonna lose, but I would love to see Kevin win. So you know what? I'm just gonna pick Kevin.
Okay. Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Max, yeah.
We got a problem.
What's up?
You said KO though, right, J-Bone?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's not Chelsea versus Meechin just yet. It's Chelsea versus Bailey. And then Tiffany versus Meechin, that'll take place Friday on SmackDown. And then the winners of those matches will face off on Saturday.
Oh, shit. Hold on a minute. Let me go back to that.
I was going to say, because I'm on the I'm on the WWE event thing, and that match is not listed yet.
Yeah, it says Bailey or Chelsea versus Meechin or Tiffany Stratton.
I'm still going to go with Chelsea for my pick, just so we're clear.
Yeah. So okay. All right. That changes a whole mess of stuff. Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre, J-Bone, who do you got?
Oh man. I think I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre here.
Okay.
He's had a rough 2024.
Yeah.
So he needs a few more wins to at least end 2024 on an upswing, or a higher note for him.
Sure. Yeah. And the final match here, Bailey or Chelsea Green versus Michin or Tiffany Stratton. Because I would assume, Max, you said that they're going to fight on SmackDown?
Yep,
Right?
SmackDown, and we'll find out who the final two are.
Okay, so J-Bone, who do you think is going to win on SmackDown?
I don't know, but to win the whole shebang, I'm just gonna pick Tiffy time.
Okay. All right. We'll go with the Baron. Now, let's get to you, buddy. Gunther versus Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Who do you got?
Well, let's not overanalyze this show, fellas. This is a Saturday night main event. There's no title changes that's going to happen. This is a public show on live TV. So Gunther's going to win. He's going to hold on to that title for at least another year.
That's why I love you, buddy. Io Sky versus Liv Morgan.
Come on. Next match.
Hey, listen, I already put him down for Liv before you ever asked me.
Thank you, Max.
I just wanted to say it.
Of course, Liv. Of course. I will never not pick Liv.
It's lovely Liv. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
You know, I think this could be interesting if this was on a PLE. This is on Saturday Night Main Event. So, I mean, like, clear cut, Cody Rhodes is going to win.
Yeah. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre is going to beat the living shit out of Sami Zayn. This is a clearly put together match for that reason, for Drew to come in and beat the hell out of him, because Sami's going to sell that shit. Yeah. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a good match.
For the tournament final for the inaugural WWE Women's Championship, the Women's U.S. Championship, is it Bailey, Chelsea Green, Michin, or Tiffany Stratton?
So this is one that that's a hard pick. I want Chelsea Green because for all the reasons that was stated on the show tonight, I think she would be great. Something tells me I'm going to go with Bailey.
Okay. Oh wow, that's strong. CM Styles, I'm going to give you an opportunity to change your, if you want to, change your prediction for the tournament final for the inaugural WWE Women's U.S. Championship. Bailey, Chelsea Green, Michin, or Tiffany Stratton?
I'm going to keep it with Chelsea Green because I think she's just very deserving at this point. I mean, she's come a long way into WWE. And,
yeah.
I mean, for character development, you know, she might be that snobby, annoying heel, but she's good at what she does, and she brings a lot of heat to the table. So, you know, she's very well deserving. I mean, Bailey's already had hers, so it's just to see her. But Stratton or Michin, I just don't see those two carrying a strap anytime soon.
Yeah. Max, I'm going to give you that opportunity too.
Oh, I'm sticking with Chelsea.
Sticking with Chelsea. All right. Well, it's my turn then. For the World Heavyweight Championship between Gunther, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest, I agree with J-Bone. I think Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to beat the hell out of each other. Gunther's just going to kind of sit back quietly and take a shot to retain his title. So I'm going with Gunther.
He's gonna pick the bones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan and Io Sky. I'm afraid of getting beat up by the Baron, so I'm going to say Liv Morgan.
Okay, thank you.
I'm afraid of you, man. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Of course, I didn't think that this was for the title, and with this being on a non-PLE network event, I'm going to stay with Cody, man, because Cody's not going to drop. If that were a PLE, I would say differently. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Yep, Drew's going to beat the holy shit out of Sami Zayn, so I'm going with Drew. And I might even go as far as to calling that a squash match. And tournament final between Chelsea Green, Michin, or Tiffany Stratton, or Bailey. I'm going to go with two different people here. First and foremost, I'm going with Chelsea because I agree. I think Chelsea has come very, very, very far with her character, with her heel persona. I think that she's a kind of a standout right now. So I'm going to go with either Chelsea Green and or Tiffany Stratton because it's time that Tiffy cashes in that Money in the Bank contract. I really do think I think it's time. So I'm going to go with either Chelsea Green or Tiffany Stratton. But I don't know if she can. I don't know if she can cash in that Money in the Bank contract yet.
You can cash in whenever you want, really. But let me clarify and make sure I understand this. What you're saying is that Chelsea Green wins the tournament, becomes the first women's U.S. champion, and then Tiffy cashes in after and takes it away from her.
I think that might happen. I think that's a good possibility.
That would
That's
be
fair.
that would be golden. I think that
That'd be
would be pretty fucking good to watch. But
Yeah. I think that would be entertaining as hell, man. But there you go. That's Saturday night's main event on Peacock and NBC on this coming Saturday night. Jesse the Body.
What time is that on?
I believe that's on at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Central Standard Time, the only time zone that matters.
By the way, I would like to point something out. I'm looking over Saturday night main event results from over the years.
Uh-huh.
The most recent one that had a title change hands was Saturday night's main event number 33, which took place July 15th, 2006 at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. The main event was John Cena versus Edge for the WWE Championship. Edge was the champion. Oh, title didn't change hands, but Cena won that. Hold on. There have been several.
Shawn
Michaels defeated British Bulldog in October of 92 for the Intercontinental title. And that same night, the Ultimate Maniacs, Warrior and Savage, defeated Money Inc. for the tag titles. So it's not the first. It wouldn't be unprecedented for them to change a belt Saturday night. I just don't think they're going to.
Go ahead.
I think the only title we're going to see that's A, going to go to a new person, and B, might change hands is going to be the women's U.S. title. That's the only one.
Yeah, you got to remember, too, with Saturday Night Main Event, a lot of those are pre-taped. I mean, this one's obviously going to be live, but for many, many years, they've all been taped versions. Because, I mean, I was just at an event a few years ago that their pre-show, it was a house show. Their pre-show was actually Saturday Night Main Event. They pulled out the fucking, the carpet for it and Titantron and everything. So a lot of them are pre-taped.
Yeah, and I'm just going through the list here, and a lot of these Saturday night main events were an hour in duration. This one is going to be 2 hours, but the last one that I'm seeing that took place on July 28th in 2008 from Washington, D.C., Paul London defeated Charlie Haas in a singles match. John Bradshaw, Layfield, Kane, and the Legacy, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase defeated John Cena, Batista, Crime Time with Shad Gaspard and JTG. The Great Khali defeated Jimmy Wang Yang.
What? What? Who the fuck paired them two up?
Well, who do you think? And Edge defeated Jeff Hardy.
Listen, I don't think Paul London really defeated Charlie Haas because that was a dark match, which means it never happened.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So 2008 was the last Saturday night main event we've had.
Saturday night, yeah.
Televised, yeah.
Wow.
Now they have been doing Saturday night main events, but they've been on the course of a house show because I was just at one 2 years ago at Santander Arena in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they do name a lot of their house shows.
They've been, instead of calling it WWE Live now, they're giving them a TV show or some kind of like former pay-per-view name. And it's cool but stupid at the same time because people were gonna have like, oh well, when I heard Saturday Night Main Event, I was thinking, oh, so it's gonna be taped. Mm-hmm. No, it's a house show. It's a small venue. As a matter of fact, AEW, Baron's favorite show, is going to be at the Santander Arena for a live show.
Yeah. And I'm looking up. This is what 37, number 37, 37th Saturday night main event. for WWE, which is impressive as hell. All right, well, that's the show. We've gone way over time, but that
Great
is
time.
for tonight. Styles, man, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We certainly do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to help us out as J-Bone was on assignment. And J-Bone, I'm glad you survived your assignment, whatever it was that we said it was.
I survived work.
Right, yeah.
Well, I think his assignment was coming to my house to pick up more edibles, but
That's right. Yes, it was. Yeah, that's right. And
I
he
love
didn't fucking show up. Folks.
now that's an assignment. I can
it's on his way as we speak.
That man
yeah,
wouldn't
man.
be. He wouldn't be able to walk for fucking 2 weeks after smoking with me.
Oh boy. Styles, how can they follow you on social media, sir?
All right, so as you can see right here, the handle The Activated on X. I mean, I use things like Facebook, but I don't care for it as much. You can still find me on Instagram at The Activated Styles as well. But just follow me right here. Everything else you need to know is in that handle over on the X.
There you go. Max Mages.
Oh, they can find me at Max Mages or at Our Shots Podcast. If you want to listen to some nerdy stuff, check that out, random-shots.net.
Absolutely. J-Bone.
You can follow me over on that other little podcast called Total Nonstop Impact, where we're doing all the stuff TNA on Thursday nights. And well, guess what? I actually have off on Thursday night this week. So guess where you're going to find me Thursday night? You can also find me here.
Under the computer.
Yes.
And they can also find you at where?
Here. And also on the Twitter box, JBone5150.
There you go. Baron, since your handle's not up there, bud, what do you got, man?
Yeah, no shit, it's not. I just now realized that Scumbag Jordan with 3. I repeat, 3 N's on the X. Yeah, that's where you find me.
Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's. And you can follow the show's page on Facebook. Just search for Ramblers Unleashed. And you can find us on X at The Ramblers Pod. We'd love to have you follow along. And if you liked what you heard tonight, please let YouTube know. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video so that YouTube knows you like our content and you want to see more of it. And it will push it off to more people so that we can continue to grow our numbers. And no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, please enjoy professional wrestling for what it is. Styles, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, brother.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine. I appreciate y'all inviting me, and I look forward to doing this again in the near future.
Absolutely. We'll have you on soon, man. And in the meantime, please do enjoy professional wrestling. Enjoy what it is, even if it's a crap promotion. Don't let that hinder anything, man. Enjoy professional wrestling, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.